Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are here to look at the brand new holiday collection from Cle de Peau. And don't forget to stop by and say hello to me on TikTok, Instagram, and on Threads. All right, Cle de Peau is a brand that I have a mostly love, but admittedly sometimes love-hate relationship with. Cle de Peau is, of course, manufactured in Japan, and it is the most exquisite and precious makeup out there, and you'll know that if you are a fan. But because of that, it is very pricey, and I am often suspicious of very pricey makeup because everyone has a line they draw, and my line sometimes is just short of Cle de Peau. This is a large collection. I could not resist it. It also consists of a luminizing face enhancer, which looks amazing, some matte and satin lipstick, and different sorts of cleansers and collections. But what I got is the one I couldn't resist, and that is the Eye Color Quad in 501 Visions of Radiance. Here is the cover. Absolutely gorgeous. It is, hold on to your horses, $110, which is why I only purchased one part of the collection. I just wanted to try it out. You are getting a little preview of it here. We, of course, are going to swatch it in two different lights, and we are going to try it on as well. Okay, I want to show you this. You know, it's pricey, $110 for an eyeshadow palette, and we complain about Tom Ford around here, right? So let's see what we think and why. Now, I want to show you how gorgeous this is, and I have been ever so careful in swatching it because, well, here's mine right now after a demo and after swatches. First of all, it's still absolutely gorgeous, but I did try to use in the corners. Here on the kind of sherbety orange shade, you can see it already starts to mix in. It is a little bit of an overlay, but I took a photo. I was smart enough to take a little bit of video before I started into what it looks like absolutely pristine, and you can see why I was tempted. Some of you will say, no, not for 110. Well, I can see why I was tempted, I should say. And it comes with, as you see next to it, that beautiful case, which has kind of that creamy under the sea sort of motif going on. And I knew when I held it up here, you wouldn't be able to see that well enough. So I wanted to show that to you. As a holiday collection, I think it's ingenious because it's very ethereal, light, and it's not based in traditional kind of Western ideas of Christmas. Not that all palettes are, but they're often very heavy for the holiday season, seeing as it's winter and whatnot. So I can see people in Asia, Australia, and such really loving this for their holiday seasons, which are much warmer, and I just like the look of it a lot more on the face. I have trouble with really heavy, dark, super smoky eye makeup. Just a personal preference. I want to go to the swatches, but first let me make sure that if you haven't already done so, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I do know that this video will be recommended to you if you've seen others of my videos, but it really helps me if you actually hit that subscribe button, so please do. All right, let's take a look at this palette in two different lightings. First off, I'm going to show you it on my arm in studio lighting. There it is as it's laid out in the palette, and those are just the shades, not those pretty little overlays. I tried to avoid those. It was $110. I want to enjoy it, right? I did take one for the team, I think, in blurring the orange just to see if it would come off of there, and it does, so I held off after that. But let's take this outside to see it best in the warm California sunshine. Take a look at it there on my arm. Isn't that beautiful? And wait till you see it on the eyes as well. So let's talk a little bit about how to use this before we go to the demo. We have 8 hours of moisture. This is a great eyeshadow. Cle de Peau makes beautiful eyeshadow. For those of you who might get, your lids might be a bit dry sometimes. It's really moisturizing, but yet doesn't slide off the eye if you have oilier eyelids, so don't worry about that. And it promises 12 hours of wear. Interesting thing, and this can be either a good thing or a bad, I'll explain both. Right here, in this bottom corner here, this kind of pink shade, it's kind of a pearly pink shade, and you'll see it in the demo. This is the included eye primer. Now, it's pretty in its own right, so if you want to use it other than just as a primer, I'm not going to tell on you, but I will say that Cle de Peau does call this a primer. Now, I love it. I think it's really pretty. It extends the wear and the life of the eye shades, but you can imagine where a lot of people who are critical of Cle de Peau go with this. Since this has been included in every quad, they're saying, okay, so it's $110 for 3 shades then? That is what the critics say, and you might be among the critics. I kind of think this is a shade in and of itself, but I'll let you decide when you watch the demo. We are also going to make use, because I keep forgetting, of the included sponges because these are becoming, after many years of not being much, these are becoming quite an interesting little addition to palettes. They're coming into vogue again, so to speak. All right, let's go to the demo and try out the brand new gorgeous Cle de Peau Holiday Eye Color Quad in 501 Visions of Radiance. All right, really eager to try this on. And because I've been talking a lot on this channel about included sponges and brushes, I did mention once that Cle de Peau actually even sells these little guys individually in case you need to replace one or you've lost one. So they obviously have a value, and this is something kind of new that I'm trying to embrace after years of chucking them out when they came with an eyeshadow palette. And I keep saying I'm going to use them and forgetting to, so I'm going to use them first so that we remember. The first thing we want to do is go in with this primer shade, which is right here. Now this shade has a nice little kind of dewiness to it, and theoretically you could use this as a shade. I mean, you don't have to use it as a primer. Who am I to tell you what to do? But it is considered to be a priming shade to go over the entire eye. The only issue I see with this little sponge is it's just taking me a little longer than I would like. And you're going to say, a little longer than you'd like? Rebecca, you're speeding through it. You must not be familiar with this channel. I am extra speedy with my makeup application. So because this is tiny, it's taking me a little longer. So maybe in hindsight, I would use another brush. But look at how pretty that is. I mean, the primer alone is certainly very, very pretty. Okay. So let's continue on. We've got a brush on one side here. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually take this little brown shade here. You know, I proved here that this does come off. So I'm trying to kind of use from the corner so that I could save that. And we have a very nice high pigment. I'm using my finger then I didn't take it off the brush because I didn't realize the brush would hold it like that. It really does. So now I kind of have a better idea. Should have tested that first. Okay, and we're going to go over here and do the same. And having that primer on should also extend the life and make application of the shade a little bit easier. And that is certainly very, very pretty. I do miss my Sonia G and Refer brushes, but I will say this is working very well. Okay, so now we've used the sponge and the brush here. If I got my little hand out of the way, that would probably help you. Okay, and on this side we have a kind of a pointier sponge and a kind of rounder brush, kind of like the one I used for the primer. All right, let's go here, and I think what I want to do is I want to take this little rounder sponge and go into this pretty kind of violet pink shade there, and just put that all over the eye. But I'm leaving this part, and I don't know if I want the orange there or what I quite want to do. I'm leaving, when I say this part, I mean the inner part of the eye. I'm not quite sure what I want to do there, as this is a really kind of glistening, glowing palette to begin with. Now, many would say that with hooded eyes, or if you have hooded eyes, sorry guys, I'm going to just switch to a Refer number 10 just to kind of blend a little bit. It's just faster. If you have hooded eyes, many would say that you should avoid this kind of a look because, of course, being a bit reflective and highlighty, it pronounces or brings forward parts of the eye. Most people would like it to be a little less if they have a hooded eye, certainly in the crease, but you know what, I don't care. There really are no rules. Okay, using the other side here of this brush, I'm going to take this pointier area here and just kind of put a little bit more of that primer in because I just like the way it glistens. So in other words, I'm kind of not using it really as a primer right now. I just kind of like the look of it. And then I'm going to take a Refer brush, because there's no problem mixing it, and go into this kind of sherbet looking orange shade and just put that right in that area we left, that little space we left. And I think sherbet is a good way to describe this because this is kind of a sherbety looking look, it's not necessarily what you would often consider to be holiday, but I love that. Holiday always is so dramatic, right? So to have something kind of ethereal and gentle and call it holiday is very nice to my way of thinking. A very subtle eyeshadow look, and I think very, very Cle de Peau. I think it's really on brand with the brand. You know, just kind of a subtle, almost like you can see the influence, because Cle de Peau is of course made in Japan, so you can see the influence of the beauty trends in Asia, I believe, on this look, and I am definitely here for it. What do you guys think, and what do you make of the price? Did you indulge? And if so, did you pick up any of the lipsticks? I wish I could have gotten it all, but yeah, you know, I can't get all of it. So many holiday purchases. But I did want to share that with you. And to me, this is kind of a signature type of go-to look for me. You think I would buy more Cle de Peau? I just can't afford it. But if you are going to splurge on something, I think you might find this quite a worthy splurge. So let me know in your comments down below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And you can become a bigger member of this community by giving super thanks, shopping from those links below, or by becoming a channel member. There is a link in the description bar for that, and I think you would really enjoy our lives. But in any way that you choose to be here, I am super happy to have you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye.